The Penguin is easily the best DC show ever made. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Our DC Review web series, where I review the latest DC movies and shows released. I just watched the season finale of The Penguin, and this show is honestly just incredible. Easily, without a doubt, the best show DC has ever created. There wasn't a single episode that I didn't love, and this story is one twisted, greedy journey that Oswald Cobb goes on, and episode 8 wrapped it up perfectly. This episode had so many twists and turns, and when you expected one thing, another thing happened, and it never let you get comfortable. There was always something keeping you on the edge of your seat, and I loved it. And the Penguin is one messed up guy. When his mother is going to get her finger cut off unless he admits that he killed her sons, his brothers, and he still denies it, shows how dark and selfish he really is. He was willing to let her lose her finger in an incredibly agonizing way just to keep his secret. He is so obsessed with his mother's approval that he even continued to pretend that she didn't know what happened when she was in hospital, acting like he hadn't done anything wrong. And then that ending with him facing her bed towards the city skyline and Oz acting as if she is happy with what he has done. He is honestly so psychotic and delusional. Thinking she is happy for him and then going downstairs to dance with his girlfriend who is in the same dress his mother was in, and then pretending to be his mother was so messed up. It really shows how psychotic Oz really is, and that makes him unpredictable. And speaking of unpredictable, Sophia's fate. That was a genius move. I first thought, okay, great, she's going to leave Gotham, and then that leaves her open to return in the future if needed. But then her plan fails, and I think, oh wow, they are really going to kill her off, which I thought would have been really wasted. But then Oz leaving her for the cops after framing her, and her ending up back in Arkham Asylum was mental, and then that letter from her half-sister Selena Kyle was crazy. That extra world building is the stuff I love, and now we could be seeing the Hangman team up with the Cat, and they could be a real handful for Oz and Batman. And speaking of Batman, oh my god, we have to talk about that ending. What a perfect way of ending the show. Oz dancing in his penthouse after winning, and then bam, the bat signal turns on, telling us that Oz shouldn't get too comfortable because Batman is out there, which is a brilliant and subtle way of fusing these two stories together. And honestly, whilst I still do think it was strange for none of the small-time criminals to mention Batman at all, or even hear about him investigating the explosion, or anything like that, the show still works so well without him being mentioned. And I do think if that ending shot didn't happen, then it would have felt really strange for the show to not even acknowledge him in any way. But fortunately, they did it in the best way they could, that took absolutely nothing away from the Penguin and that story, but absolutely made me so excited for part 2 of the Batman. I just absolutely loved this show. This episode alone is a 9 out of 10 for me, and the season as a whole is a 9.5 out of 10. This story was so clearly the focus, and I'm so glad it was. This is how DC movies and shows should be made. Pure focus on creating a story that solely focuses on the characters included and takes us on a journey of so many emotions. In the finale, I was laughing and almost crying and everything in between. That is how you tell a story, and I'm so grateful to everyone who made that show. Not only was the story amazing, but so were the actors. Colin Farrell will definitely win awards with this performance, and it is so deserved. He was so captivating as Oz, and I can't see anyone else playing him. Christine Milioti should also win awards as well. She was the perfect Sophia, and she contrasted Oz so well. The perfect opponent, and the show wouldn't have been the same without her. And I could go on and on about everyone's performance in this show because they were all so amazing. But I do want to talk about Victor. My god, what a tragic story for him. loses his whole family to the floods, and then Oz almost kills him but decides to use him instead. And then Vic has the chance to escape and leave with his girlfriend, but instead sticks around and saves Oz. And then after helping Oz every step of the way, he kills him. An absolutely heartbreaking ending to his character, but one I feel makes sense for the future of this story. I think he is actually too nice and we're too attached to his character to have him around in the future. The Penguin needs to be on his own and to be hated, and with Victor around, who we love and have a real soft spot for, and who actually brings out that hint of goodness in Oz, you would never have that real hatred for the Penguin. We really sympathize with Vic, and to have him around would mean we are always looking out for him and don't actually want the Batman to take him down. So unfortunately him dying made sense, but it still is so sad to see happen, and to happen by Oz right at the end of the show when you think he is actually going to make it, hits you right in the stomach, and it makes you hate Oz. It really does. There is no way on earth you can have any affection for him going forward. And really, that is the way it should be. He's not supposed to be that guy you really like. He needs to be this slimy creature that you never trust and never like. And now he is at that point, and going into the Batman Part 2, most of us want to see this happen to Oz. He is pure evil, and you need that for a villain. I loved his character arc in this story, and this was perfectly done. The gap between the Batman Part 1 and 2 probably won't be that much, and they could have just said in Part 2 that Penguin took over from Maroni, and a lot of us would have been happy with that. But this 8-episode masterpiece gave us so much more depth to this world and these characters. Meaning going into the Batman Part 2, we have so much more knowledge and connection to these characters. The Batman obviously focused so much on Batman, but now we have equal, if not more, character development for the Penguin, and so when they meet again, we will know so much more about the both of them. And in storytelling, that is so important. I just can't wait 2 whole years for the Batman Part 2. How can it be that long until we see the next part of this story? And you know what? I love that feeling. That means DC is winning. We are getting great DC stories, and it is making me desperate to see what happens next. That is what should be happening at DC, and it hasn't been like that for a while. So I am treasuring that feeling. To know that we actually have something to look forward to is amazing. With the DCU, we honestly don't know how it will turn out, and we don't really have anything of that scale to judge it on. So our excitement with that is kind of blind faith blended with what we have seen before. But with the Batman Part 2, we have the Batman and the Penguin to both judge the next part of that story on. And I love both so much, so I am so excited for Part 2. Like I said earlier for this episode, I'd give it a 9 out of 10 and the series as a whole a 9.5 out of 10. This show was incredible and everything I had hoped for and more. So make sure to let me know your thoughts on episode 8 and the season overall in the comments below. But that is all for today's review. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!